So good morning, everybody, and welcome from my side. Who has been here last year? Can you show up your hand? So I would say 50% of you have been here last year. And last year, I've been here on stage, and I told you, I mean, we have to do things more simple. We have to do it in a partnering way, and we had a showcase with a bicycle here. And when I prepared this speech for today, I imagined what happened in the last 12 months. A, in the market, B, also within Deutsche Telekom, but especially on the market. And I want to give you a view on a telco perspective, which is very important. The telcos have an important role, but the telcos cannot do it alone. So it's still very much a partnering approach of all of us here in the room to have propositions in the market that enable our customers, our common business customers, to have more, let's say, efficient processes and to derive new business models. So let me start with one first sentence. I have to get the clicker. It's here. Okay. Very important, connectivity matters. Telco perspective, don't get me wrong here, telco perspective, connectivity matters. That's very, very important. That's the core of our business. And on connectivity, we are partnering with a lot of you, and I saw a lot of our customers out there. We're talking about platforms a little bit later, but also enabling services, but connectivity is really core. But there are changes, and there are innovation in connectivity. And most of us, we see, okay, it's a mobile operator, so we are talking about 2G, 3G. No, it will be much more than this, and I would like to elaborate on that one. Because connectivity has two, let's say, dimensions here. The first one is the traffic part. You know, I saw this recently in a Machina research report. What's happened on the volume part? And what we see here, that in the volume parts, the biggest volume in 2025, the expectation is on wide area networks. So the most of the data traffic will be transmitted by the PSTN, ISDN, cable, DSL, fiber, the fixed line. Still, or even more so, because when industrial sectors gonna get digitalized, there will be tons of information transported, which are right now maybe locally available, and they will be transmitted via networks. So this is by far the biggest one. And then we have the cellular part, where we sometimes focus the telcos on, okay, this is your job to do the cellular. And the cellular is on the traffic side. It's very important also. There's a lot of traffic in there. The metropolitan areas, the Wi-Fi. That's interesting, actually. We're opening a conference and give everybody the code for the Wi-Fi. That's reality. You're going into a hotel and you're using Wi-Fi. I mean, you have a mobile tariff plan, yeah, so you can use that one. But it's part of our business. Whenever we settle somewhere, we ask for the Wi-Fi code. So we will have that in also a lot of in metropolitan areas. And you see on the top the low power wide area networks. A lot of emerging technologies coming there, but by nature they are transmitting only few packets. It's not so for high volume transmission. It's not the best technology. The traffic part, and now you see on the next page the situation on number of connections. The same groups and different view. The short range, you remember on the page before, small from the traffic, but the short range, it's very, very large here in the part. Short range was what a little bit shaded, was like the Zigbee in the smart home. Who has been on the IFA the last days? Somebody of you? There was smart home all over. I think you saw that. And it's a lot of small, short-range technologies that coming up, and the washing machines and the fridges, and all get Wi-Fi in there, or Zigbee, or whatsoever. The lamps, the lights, and so on. So short range, by far the biggest ones, but the traffic will be transmitted via fixed or mobile. The low power area also is, from the number of devices by 2025, bigger, by far bigger than cellular and wide area. It's the wide area and cellular together is the same number as low power. And the metropolitan is there and the satellite. So that's interesting for us. Number of connections is A and traffic is B. And what does it mean for the connectivity part? What does it mean for telcos? How do we have to react on these trends? So I'll give you an example. All right. So best effort connectivity. This is the way we are in, and we're going to come to the next level. I will call it industry-grade connectivity. Best effort on mobile means whenever you're abroad and you have your mobile subscription and you go to a different country, we call it roaming, then it's a kind of best effort. Means it works or it doesn't work. Yeah? And if it doesn't work, we have to ask our provider in that country, and they said, yeah, you know, it's ABC, but there's no real service level agreement around the country where no quality of service in mobile networks, not really. Actually, there's some on a lot of roaming partners, but it's not the one industry industrial companies are looking for. So I will call this industry-grade connectivity, and this has three components. The first one is global. And you can imagine global, we have, I think Deutsche Telekom has about 600 roaming agreements around the world, and most of our competitors have some kind of the same roaming agreements. So we are connected. Yes, we can do these things, but most of these are on best effort basis for each and every carrier. So what it changed now, we have our global multiple partnerships, and you see it outside in our booth, and we yesterday had a press release, and our partner Swisscom joined the global M2M association, which is a combination of high-quality network providers throughout the world, giving a service on a high-quality standard to the customers. So by alliances, we have to go into the industry-grade connectivity part on global partnerships. This is one example. The other example is, in the last 12 months, we at Deutsche Telekom signed 150 agreements, or not only signed the agreements, but also managed agreements, 150 on the direction into more quality, into quality of service on the mobile part. And because of our T-Systems part, where we're running big networks for companies like Shell, like BP, like Volkswagen on a global scale, we have on the fixed line multiple operations out there with high standards, because whenever there's an application, if it's a desktop management system, a manufacturing system whatsoever, we have to deliver the service, so we are very deep in the fixed line connectivity part worldwide. So these components we combine, and this makes it really unique. So multiple network partnerships definitely necessary for Big Global. This is number one, actually, on our industry-grade connectivity part. The second pillar on industry-grade connectivity is going to be monitoring and managing. This is also something different. What maybe others doing it right for a long time, we do it very strongly on the fixed line, and we do it on now in a new kind of quality on the mobile as well, as we have this have established a global M2M infrastructure with a core network components, where we put everything not on the consumer cores, but on M2M cores, and this gives us the opportunity to have different quality of service from the network part. So managing and monitoring these services is very important. Customers want to have immediate response. I mean, for sure, in these kind of complex situations, there are going to be failures. For sure, because there are radio networks or fixed lines in there and whatever. There are always happening things worldwide. And the question is, how fast can you solve this problem? How fast are you informed? Do you have backups for this one? This is for the industry very important. Second pillar. And the third pillar on industry-grade connectivity is multiple access technologies. As you saw in the beginning from the pictures with the traffic and the number of connections, all these connectivity layers, multiple access technologies, are combined in our approach now. And this makes, I think, the connectivity part a very unique part of Deutsche Telekom. And this connectivity part actually is the first and most important pillar for our business. And we offer this A, directly to customers, or B, directly to partners. And we have some of the partners out there here in the exhibition and here in the room. And C, we are bringing it one level up with a new layer. And this makes industry-grade connectivity to IoT. So I asked myself, last year we had the same discussion here, what is IoT, what is M2M, and one thing what I have in my mind is the Gartner hype cycle. We are in different layers here, different phases. Just click on the next one. Here we go. So on the hype cycle, interesting enough, the machine-to-machine communication, the part I discussed right now, which is a little bit mobile-centric, a little bit unmanaged somehow, but partly managed, is now really at the trough of disillusionment, starts getting robust business. Yeah? So it's not right there, but it's going to be there, the recent Gartner study shows us here. And Internet of Things is at the peak. Yeah? It's now number one. I think last year it was big data, and now it's Internet of Things. So we have the talkability factor is very, very, very high here. So for a telco, what does it mean? And there's one thing we decided that we go that way with Internet of Things. We said transforming data into intelligence. This is our, let's say, explanation, and this is the part for Deutsche Telekom and for a telco. This could be a way how to bring this to the next level of, I would say, product. The next product or option on the product list. I mean, we can sell, let's say, access per month for this data volume. And now the data volume is not interesting enough anymore. You know, when we go to a customer, and one of our 3,000 sales reps in Europe on the business level, they go to customers, and after 1 hour or so, they ask the customer, and how much data you need? And the customer said, I don't know. I just want to have my temperature information in a portal with a trigger action. What should I do? And how much data this connection needs, no idea. So we press, again, we press our, let's say, data volume whatsoever acronyms into a customer situation, which is not really, in this perspective, not really useful. So when we have these steps here, we have the data, which is captured, the sensor data at the device, in the machine somewhere. And this is actually, it's just a digital information. We transport it over our network, and now we transform it again into the information. And the information is, for example, is Celsius, yeah, degrees Celsius. And to have this information ready sometimes is enough for a customer. He says, okay, just want to have that one. The next customer says, no, based on my business insight, I just want to know if this is good or bad or not. For example, 23 degrees Celsius could be for a machine quite normal, but could be for a medical health transport a catastrophe. So this is different from each business case or from each business rule. So that's the insight, create specific insight. And then the next page, the next one is then make an intelligent action, trigger an action, which means send an alarm, yeah, or do whatever, yeah. So this is this is the story we see here in the market from the business clients, and they want to talk about this, and they don't want to talk about megabytes or gigabytes or whatsoever, or LoRa or whatsoever. That's not their part of business. We are the experts on that one. So we took this insight and launched a product in Germany and worldwide. We call it Cloud of Things. So Cloud of Things actually has 4 components. It's an application enabling a situation. The first one is, where are my devices? So this is asset management. It's localization. This is important for many, many use cases, many customers. Where are they? The second one is, what are they doing? So the condition. What is the condition monitoring of this one? What is the temperature? Whatsoever the sensor data the customer has and wants to have, and we can transport it here to the customer. And the third one is then an alarm system, which is a basic alarming to say, do whatever, here is temperature too high. But again, the customer has to give the insight. We are not the expert in all verticals. So the customer has to give us the triggers and has to configure it by himself. And that's the third one, configuration. It's not a one-way, it's a bi-directional version. We can really go into the machine, doing software updates and doing also configuration. So that's what we call Cloud of Things. And on the Cloud of Things, when we combine now these 2 elements, we have our industrial-grade connectivity with all these components of net connectivity components and all the devices and the sectors we're talking about. And then we have on top the application enablement platform with the localization, monitoring, alarm configuration part. That's our, let's say, this is our core that we developed here. And then we have the verticals. And on the verticals, then we're talking about system integration parts, business development parts. This is the verticals. Where we as Deutsche Telekom have the, let's say, big opportunity that we have T-Systems or MMS, we are GTS in Europe. We have a lot of, let's say, system integration companies who can really go with the customer into his process. And I would like to elaborate one more thing on this page. This is partnering, as I said. This is partnering. We have on the hardware parts that are necessary for industrial uses, for sewing machines, for cycles or motorcycles that we see outside. It's always different. The customer wants to have, want to have this form factor, and I want to have that technology, and so on and so on. So on the hardware side, I mean, we as an industry, we are still very fragmented, and we need much more, let's say, standardization and much more clarity. I give you the example. I've been with the customer a couple of times with one customer, and these 3 components, like what hardware should I take for my use case, what is my connectivity and I would say Cloud of Things part, and what is my system integration into my digital processes. The middle part, the connectivity part, which is coming from Deutsche Telekom now as in case of we have a price list on that one. It was 1 hour to explain it to the customer, and it was about 1 or 2 times we negotiate the price, and then it was done. But we're talking about 6 months about the hardware now. And our people are going there and making proposals how we can bring down the prices of the hardware. This is not our core business. We are not talking about our customers about the components of mobile phones or fixed line routers. So this is, as an industry, this is really a big effort because the hardware is very expensive for the customer, and he just counts, 10,000 times 100 euro. He thought, yeah. So this is really complex. And then the other one is, he decided on the hardware, and he had the connectivity layer in there, and then he's doing a pilot. And with a pilot, they say, oh, I can do this one extra and that one extra, and then the customer starts getting, let's say, really fixed to that, or let's say really addicted to the M2M part. And then the customer said, oh, I want to do this one extra and that one, and I have to change my process here and there. And then we are in a classic IT business system integration part in there, or business development part in there. So there are partners in this ecosystem. It's not like that we as Deutsche Telekom can do this. It's for our telcos can do that. So on the hardware part, we have big efforts to run here. As I said, industrial-grade connectivity is for both other application-enabling platforms. We are very open to give our connectivity assets also to other partners in the market. We have our own application-enabling platform, and then we have the verticals. So I can sum this up in application enablement platform and industry-grade connectivity now starts getting converged in our business and our systems, and we call it M2M service platform. We could also name it IoT service platform, but we call it M2M service platform. And this M2M service platform connects the things around, and this is my view on how a telco could be or will be innovative and in transforming the M2M market and bringing, let's say, IoT down there the cycle, make it more tangible, bringing it together. So I would like to end with a statement I did also last year. Let's make things talk. Let's do it together. It's a partnering approach. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this was fruitful insights for you and something we can discuss later on here in the conference. Thank you.